Hey Internet world, how's everybody doing today? We got a bit of a different one going on. So you guys know I've got all of my seedlings all over the floor, and every time I want to do something in the greenhouse, I literally have to move all the seedlings out through the door, film, process, whatever, move stuff around, water, move it all back in every single time, right? It's getting a little annoying. One of the reasons for that is on this side of me over here, I've got all of my basil growing, my kale growing, and my dill and my Swiss chard growing, right? Now, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to, right behind the camera here, I have 4 out of the 5 pots of basil that have been growing. The plants are absolutely gorgeous, but I have lots more basil growing in the seedling trays behind me for this summer, so we're good. And I don't use basil fresh a lot. Once a week, maybe I put it on some sandwiches and stuff like that. I don't make pesto or anything like that. But, you know, I throw it in my spaghetti sauces and such. So the plan is I'm going to take the 4 plants I have right behind the camera. I'm going to strip them down till there's nothing left. We're going to put them in this great big monster bowl. We're just going to take them up to the sink, wash them, and then I'm going to throw them in my dehydrator, right? That way, you know, I have all the extra space in here that I'm going to need, because I'm going to, today I'm doing the basil, tomorrow I'm doing the dill. So once I remove all the basil and all the dill, I'm essentially clearing up 2 whole bins of plants that I'm growing. I don't need all that dill either. Potato salads and fish and stuff like that. So 1 great big pot is plenty. This was kind of the end game anyways. When I started all this, I knew it wasn't going to stay in here all season, and I knew eventually I was going to end up harvesting it anyways. So that's the plan. So let's rip this camera around. I'll show you these beautiful plants, and let's start the process. So here's all these beautiful basil plants. I mean, they're gorgeous. This is Genevieve's basil, in case you're wondering. So there's 1, 2, 3, and the one in the back, 4. It's a little tiny one. It's struggling because all the other plants have surpassed it in size. So now what's happening is it's trying to get caught up and it's not getting enough sun. So we're just going to strip it down anyways. So there's all the plants. And right, it's just like a sea of green here. So I mean, the basil, all we're literally doing is we're just gonna pinch it all off with our fingers. Oh, sorry, camera's picking up the wrong basil plant. There we go. So here's the one we're working on, right? Isn't that gorgeous? And all I'm gonna do is I'm just taking my fingers, okay, and I'm just gonna pinch all these off. Throw them in a big bowl that I've got sitting right underneath the camera. So I'm going to, and in the process, I'm going to take out any of the ones that are kind of funny looking. So I'm going to strip all these down, and I'll get back to you guys in a minute. So we got that done. Look at this. Oh yeah. If you guys could smell my greenhouse right now, you're all be so jealous. Don't lick your screen. I know it, as good as it looks. Look at that. Don't lick your screen, though. I know what you guys do with your filthy phones. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this upstairs. I've already washed and sterilized my kitchen sink. We're just going to fill the sink up with some water. I don't like the look of that one. We're going to fill up the kitchen sink with some water. We're going to throw this basil in it, rinse it around a little bit, and just give it a bit of a cleanup, you know, because there's a bit of dust and stuff down here, but it's not like it's growing outside where it's got all kinds of outdoor contaminants on it. So we're going to rinse it in the sink, then we're going to put it in the salad spinner, then we're going to load it in the dehydrator. So next thing you're going to know, we're going to be in the kitchen. Ready? All right. Step 1, turn on the tap. Step 2, dump all that Flavor Town into the sink. And we're just pretty much just going to give it a bit of a once over. And like I said, there's not really going to be any dirt on it because it was in the greenhouse. So it should be okay. Just going to rinse it off. And the other benefit to doing things like this, guys, is this gives you the opportunity. There we go. Hang on. This gives you the opportunity to do a bit of quality control, right? In case some of the bad leaves. I apologize for the squeaky sound in the background. My dog just got a brand new toy. If you guys want to see some content on my new puppy dog, let me know. Throw that down in the comments and I'll introduce you to Thor. Most of you have never met him before. He's a purebred border collie Burmese mountain dog. He's getting big already. But yeah, so it's beneficial if you do it like this because you have another chance to do some quality control that you might not have done on your plants when you were stripping them out. Another thing you don't want to do when you're washing stuff like this is pull the drain and then clean everything out of the sink. Because right now, all the dirt is settled to the bottom, right? Most of your plants are floating. So if you clean this stuff out of here now, right, then you're going to leave the dirt sitting in the bottom. So right beside me here, I have a towel in the drain board for my dishes. And I'm just putting this basil right onto that towel. And I'm going to let them drip dry while I go and get my dehydrator. Because you don't want to put these things soaking wet into your dehydrator, right? Then you're just prolonging the process. So, clean all this out. And if you're wondering if dehydrated basil still has a fair amount of flavor, if you've never done this before, it does. I mean, no herbs taste as good and as pungent as when they're fresh, right? But when you're dehydrating your herbs, you want to do it on a low temperature. That way you maintain the oils in the herbs, right? So, like if you're going to dehydrate, let's say, pineapple slices, you do that at 135 degrees. But if you're doing herbs like this, I'm going to do them at about 95. Oh, that didn't work. Wrong one. There we go. So this is what we have. Great big beautiful stack of basil. See, look at all the, right? So we're just going to let that drip. And I'll let that sit for a minute, let the water run out, and go get the dehydrator. So we went and got the dehydrator. Our basil's had a chance to drip. I'm going to put it in the salad spinner. If you guys don't have one of these salad spinners, I highly recommend you get yourself one. They're not expensive. You can get them at China Mart and other places like that. Put the lid on like that. All you do is spin the hell out of it. Okay? Give it a go for a second, and then move everything around a little bit. Do it again. This is also really handy if you have lettuce growing in your backyard and you want to have salads regularly, you can just go pick it, wash it, run it through one of these. That's a little break. And now you have all your basils dry. All right, let's get the dehydrator going. Got the first tray. Take that out of there. See what I'm saying? Look at all that water left. So it's going to take the basil, fill up all the trays. I've had this little Salton dehydrator since something like 2009, and I have dehydrated a ridiculous amount of stuff in it. They're not expensive, so if you're looking for a cheaper dehydrator, these Saltons aren't too bad. They do a good job. Now, if you really want a good dehydrator, the Excalibur, that thing is boss. It's 9 trays. It's got a heating element and a fan in the back instead of in the bottom. And I'm sure it's probably got a more sensitive temperature regulator process to it. It just depends on how much money you want to spend, because you can probably pick one of these dehydrators up at Walmart or something for, I don't know, 65 bucks, less than $100. But last time I was looking for the Excalibur, used ones, people were asking $300. Now, are they being a little greedy? Yeah, probably. What's one worth brand new? I'm not too sure. We're just going to load this up. And what I do is when I'm running the dehydrator, every couple hours, I'll come back and I'll rearrange the trays. I'll bring the top to the bottom. I'll move the middle trays around. And that way, because all the heat's coming from the bottom, right? And that way you have, everything has a chance to get more heat, and you end up with a product at the end when all's said and done that is equally dried on all the trays. Because if you just left it go, the stuff on the bottom would be like bone dry, and then the stuff on the top wouldn't be, and then you're trying to pull it out and adjust it and all that nonsense. So you don't want to have to go through that. So it's easier to just rotate through. See, that's how fast basil gets bruised when you bang it up. See how it's already changed colors? That's just from ripping it off the stem and stuff. All right, so let's get that off of here. Get the dehydrator. Throw that up here now. So all we're going to do, guys, is we're just going to there's the dehydrator, see? Salton. So if you guys are going to buy a dehydrator, don't buy one that does not have a temperature dial on it, because it's going to be completely useless. You don't want to, for example, if you're doing beef jerky, you need it on a hot temperature. If you're doing herbs, you need it on a cool temperature, right? If you have one that's literally just an on and off switch, who knows what it's running at, right? So when you get your dehydrator, at least make sure it has a temperature gauge or temperature settings. So we just put this sucker on like that. Apparently I didn't bring the lid up, so I'm just gonna go get the lid, and I'm gonna start running this now. It's 3:30 Sunday afternoon, and this should be done by probably tomorrow morning, because I'm gonna run it from now overnight. So that's it, you know, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Look at that. This is gonna be so good. And I'm gonna give some to my mom because I was gonna give her one of the basil plants, and then I realized that I tore them all to shreds, and now I don't have one to give her. So, Mom, if you're watching this, I love you. There's basil coming, and for everybody else, hit that subscribe button. It's on your screen there, and give me a thumbs up. Shoot me a big comment, and you guys can do this too. It didn't take anything to grow this basil. All right. So grow good food, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.